Alright, yeah, and welcome back to the final episode with our Jeskai Thopters deck. Without further ado, let's get into the game, shall we? See you there. Okay, we're in. We play first. We've got a lot of Selfless Spirits and half of the colours needed for Saheeli. I think we can do better. And this is much better. Okay, so we'll lead off with an Evolving Wild since we don't have a turn 1 play. So we might as well go get another blue source for the Whirler Rogue by the looks of it. We have our red in the Sulphur Falls for the PNLR as well, so it's all good. Our opponent is rank 35 called Templar Conradishes. Alright. Oh god. No! Pause! Pause! I hate you, game. I hate you so much. Okay. Well, on that note, let's just play planes, I guess. Pass the turn. That turn, we could have had a Selfless Spirit come down and put a little bit of pressure on the board, but game did not will it. Evolutionary Leap for our opponent. Right. Let's pause right now, because he's tapped out. And we've got nothing to worry about. Let's go get our blue source. Ah, dear. Magic Duels. Sometimes you just... you do things to me. And they're not nice. Right, well, Sulphur Falls. What we could do here is we could either Thopter Engineer and next turn Whirler Rogue and would get 2 1/1s out of the gate that have haste thanks to the Engineer. Or we can Chief and Thopter Engineer the turn after. Or even Chief this turn. Sorry, I'm twisting my words. Thopter Engineer this turn. Chief next turn to pump the Thopter we have. And this one having haste as well. So we can get in for a fair amount of damage. I'm not against that. That sounds good. Let's go Thopter Engineer. Get in for 1 damage. Take our opponent down to 19. There seem to be some sort of sack deck as well. So we probably find that they've got a lot of chump blockers. And a lot of block and sacks to the Evolutionary Leap as well. Fortunately for us, they're not in the... ooh. This is a Marionette Master deck. Yeah, so he's just put down a Weaponscraft Enthusiast, which fabricates to create some servos. Marionette Master, what that does is it produces a lot of servos, but you can sack artifacts to deal damage equal to the amount of counters on Marionette Master. So he's shown me that he's got sack outlets. He's shown me that he's got fabricate for the servos, so it's a pretty good indicator of that. And that will come down on turn 6, I believe. It's a 6/6. A 6-mana creature, I believe. So, options here. Whirler Rogue for 3 damage in the air. Or Chief of the Foundry for 2 damage in the air. I wonder what our options are there. Let's go Whirler Rogue. Most mana efficient play as well, so... Next turn we can Chief of the Foundry, and hopefully if we've drawn a land we can Selfless Spirit on the same turn as well to protect our board. But he's not in the colours for Selfless Spirit to really make a difference here, so... might as well attack in with the Engineer as well. He's only got 2 power on the board. So if he wants to stop it, he's going to have to lose a creature. And he doesn't. We have Whirler Rogue back as a decent blocker for these servo tokens as well. So we don't likely see him attacking in, not that it really makes much of a difference. Ooh, Smothering Abomination. So that's a 4/3, and on his upkeep he has to sacrifice a creature, and when you do sacrifice a creature you get to draw a card. Harness Lightning. Wonderful. What I could do with Harness Lightning, it's a really cheeky play. I could wait for the trigger to go on the stack on his upkeep. It would involve me not attacking though, or at least losing a Thopter in the process. But I could force him to sack a creature and remove his Smothering Abomination so he doesn't draw a card off the sacrifice. And I'd only lose... Actually, I wouldn't be able to get a Chief of the Foundry in on this one, but I'd be able to put a Selfless Spirit down and still do this plan. So Selfless Spirit attacking for 3, lose a Thopter. On his upkeep he loses his Smothering Abomination and one of his creatures, and doesn't draw a card. Yeah, let's do that. Alright, so Selfless Spirit coming down. And get in with our Thopters. I could always sack Selfless Spirit to give them Indestructible and keep it around, but I'd rather have a 2-1 to be honest. Okay, so we pass the turn. And on his upkeep, that trigger goes on the stack. We pause. No, no. And kill Smothering Abomination. The trigger to sacrifice a creature is still on the stack. And that creature is gone. So now he has to sacrifice. And he doesn't draw an extra card. The one that he drew there was the one for his turn, by the way, if it confused you. Almost got me then. I was like, what? Eyeless Watcher. This is literally just green-black sacrifice. It's not so much about the Marionette Master by the looks of it. It's just sacrifice whatever you can. Okay, we got another Harness Lightning. This guy only produces Scions. So we've got nothing to worry about there. I think we're just going to go Chief of the Foundry. Give these 2 +1/+1. Swing for 6 in the air. Yeah, our opponent's had enough. I would too, because this is just... There's no way he can get back from this, because Smothering Abomination's probably the only flyer he's got in the deck. He does go for a Blister Pod off of the Evolutionary Leap. Another sacrifice fodder. But yeah. Short of a board wipe here, we've just got him. So let's see what he's got. Eyeless Watcher. Yeah, there you go. He still has mana in the Scions, but he doesn't have double black for Languish, which is the card that we're worried about. Can't think what other single black or single green cards we have to worry about. And there's a Blister Pod, so we don't have to worry. Good. So we've got 6 damage in the air, but we also have PNLR to make another Thopter token, which has haste, thanks to the Engineer. And he's also a 2/2, thanks to the Chief. And we draw another PNLR. Play our Nalar of the Pier. Swing in with our flyers. Eight damage, 7 life. GG. Alright, let's get on to the next game. Alright, we are in. On the play, we have 3 mana. One of them can be whatever colour we want. And we've got double red and double blue if we get a island or a mountain as well. So I think this is a perfectly acceptable hand. We're going to go with an Evolving Wilds though. Let's thin out our deck, because we don't really want to be hitting too many lands now that we've got 3 in our hand. We curve out at 4, so we only really want to see 1 more land to be able to play absolutely everything we want to get. So I'm going to go with an island here, so that we have the double blue for the Whirler Rogue. It may be punished later on, because we haven't got ourselves our white source, but it's such a small splash that it's not usually too important, and we obviously don't have any white cards in our hand at the moment to be bothered about it. So this looks like vampires. Could even be just mono red deck wins, because he's only played 2 mountains at the moment, but he could be mana screwed. Well, there's our plane, so I'm glad I got the island right there. We're going to go Plains and Thopter Engineer. It's the most damage right now, and Chief of the Foundry next turn, or even Whirler Rogue, is going to push through some more hasty damage. So I'm absolutely ecstatic about these draws at the moment. And this guy over here, your Fury Blade Vampire, only gets +3/+0 for discarding a card, so short of discarding a Fiery Temper and getting rid of my Thopter Engineer, I'm not too fussed. But that may very well be a possibility. It looks like he's going to discard, and he's going with the Incorrigible Youths, which is a 4/3 with haste. That is a little bit worrying, but Harness Lightning is going to be able to take care of that. It's kind of the Fury Blade Vampire I'm a bit irked about, just because it's got Trample. No blocks. Taking 8 here. So that's the only one with Trample, so we just need to make as many Thopters as humanly possible and get in that way. So, Whirler Rogue here is a decent blocker for the Vampire next turn. Creates us some Thopters to attack in this turn. It doesn't leave up Harness Lightning though, but nothing. We can't cast anything if we leave up Harness Lightning. Whereas next turn we can Harness Lightning and Chief of the Foundry. So I think we're going with Whirler Rogue here. Creates 2 Thopters. How do we want to attack? Well, we definitely want the Thopter Engineer to get in, because it's not blocking. Whirler Rogue we're going to block on the Fury Blade Vampire, so I think I'll leave back a Thopter token just in case I decide I want to block an Incorrigible Youth that might be Madnessed out next turn. Need plenty of blockers, because as soon as his aggro's gone, then we're all sorted. But until that happens... So he's found his black sources now, officially. So there's no mana issues for our opponent. And Olivia's Bloodsworn, so he can pay 1 red to give haste to a creature, including itself, and it also can't block, so we're going to have to keep that in mind, because I'm obviously quite forgetful about some of these things. Alright, goes to discard. And it looks like he is. Discarding a Fiery Temper. Ah. Well, in which case, if he takes it to the Whirler Rogue, then the Thopter is just going to block the Incorrigible Youths. He's going with the Engineer. Alright. Fair play. He hasn't given haste to his Bloodsworn, which I find kind of interesting. But we're going to block here. We're going to kill his Madness Enabler. And we're going to chump block his other creature. We don't have haste on any of our Thopters anymore, but they're about to get +1/+1. So they're going to be decent blockers for his creatures. And another red source is pretty sweet. So, let's go with Chief of the Foundry. Hold up Harness Lightning for any creature he might Madness out next turn. And, how do we want to do this? The chances are Harness Lightning's going on the Incorrigible Youths. I'm not blocking with the Chief. It's never happening. Won't do it. So I guess I feel like I should just get in with 1 creature here, because burning off a creature is pretty bad for us, and we're on such a low life that we really have to consider blocking as much damage as possible. So we'll just get in for 1. It's a little bit of damage. It's not as much as I'd like, but we'll see what he does. Plays a land. Always good. Hopefully these are all lands here. That would be lovely. But it's not. He's got a Smuggler's Copter. That is annoying. So I really want to use Harness Lightning on that now, to be perfectly honest. So do we want to go down to 6 here? Or even 4 in this case. I think I'll block his Bloodsworn and go down to 6. Next turn we play a land. We can Yeah, we can whirl a rogue and hold up Harness Lightning for the Smuggler's Copter that he'll probably tap his youths for, maybe. Something like that. So we'll block there. Get that off the board. I don't want to trade my Chief just yet. Let's just hope that his hand's just not full of burn. He's not getting an attack in with that Smuggler's Copter. Yeah. A Thunderclap Wyvern. Or Wyvern, however you want to pronounce it. Does that do anything better for us? I don't think it does. I think Whirler Rogue's just a better player here. Gets more bodies on the ground. Lot more flyers. Yeah. Let's do that. We lose the element of surprise with the flash creature, but that's a pretty decent board state that I'm quite pleased about. And swinging in here. What do you become if you flip? A 3-2, so you're not going to block. I think I can afford to get in with one creature here. And I'm not getting in with a Chief, because if he does flip the Bloods, yeah, to Falcon Wreath, then... Alright, this is what I wanted to see. He crews up the Smuggler's Copter. We kill the Smuggler's Copter. And it's off the board now. So we're working with almost near perfect information. The only thing we don't know is what's in his hand right now. We're 2 turns off of killing him now if we don't have to block with any of our Thopters. And we could even block with a Thopter, because Thunderclap Wyvern's going to come in and give all creatures +1/+1. All flying creatures anyway. So there'll be an extra 2 power on the attack, which will... Ooh. Bloodhole Priest, so it gives 2 damage to target creature or player when it enters the battlefield or attacks. If you've got no cards in hand. So he's going to kill... Probably a Thopter token, would be my guess. Unless he wants to push through some damage to us. It's whether or not he's confident that his top deck will kill us. Yeah, he's not confident enough. So he's going to take out a Thopter token. Which is unfortunate. Let's see how he attacks though. Huh. Ooh. If we... allow the youths to get in combat damage, just the attack from the Bloodhole Priest is enough to kill us if he can play the card in his hand. So I think it's a block and a double block here, unfortunately. To keep his board clean. So we can always get Thopters back with the Foundry of the Consoles that we've got right there, because we have the mana for it as well. Or we could just chump, and Wyvern's going to give... keep the Lord in place to pump up our Thopters. Oh, it's risky, but I'm just going to chump here. We get his flyer off the board. And a Padeem. Yeah, that's not really great. So... Awkward. Foundry of the Consoles. We can tap all of that out to make 2 2/2s. I don't know if we attack this turn. We only attack him with a Thopter anyway. But if we don't attack him with a Thopter, then we get enough damage on the board to wipe his board clear. Ugh. And then Padeem can't really do anything. But Padeem could get us card advantage for getting ahead of our opponent. And we also have the Wandering Fumarole to push through some damage, even if we don't draw into anything. Other than our Wyvern, which obviously is going to do its thing. But I don't think there's any value in pushing out Padeem or the Wyvern right here. other than blocking the youths with our Wyvern +1 on the Thopter. I think we're just going to pass the turn. Whatever we do is on their turn anyway. Also got to bear in mind that his attack is going to do 2 damage to something. So if he points it at the Thopter, we can... Oh, Fiery Temper. No. Ah. Alright. Let's push out a creature. Yeah, he's got us because we've just got a double block here. For no value whatsoever. And I'm pretty sure there's nothing we can draw that's going to be doing us any good. Harness Lightning. Keeps us alive because it kills the incorrigible youths. And Padim chomps the Bloodhall Priest, but that's about it. We're still not progressing. We go down to 2 then. So we still need to find an answer for this Bloodhall Priest, as long as he can cast this creature, the card in his hand, which is fairly obvious that he can. Blood Mad Vampire. Yeah. Swings in. Deals 2 damage to something. We kill his youths. Yep. We go down to 2. Chump block. We're dead on the attack next turn. Unless we can wipe his board clear, which we don't run board wipes, so... Yep, there's a Westvale Abbey. That's game. Play it out. And say GG. If he went for that Bloodhall Priest, would have been absolutely fine. It was all those pings that he was getting. Damn him. Damn him and his rare, very useful vampire card. Well, can't win them all. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's episode. So if you did enjoy the content, then be sure to leave a like. That helps me out a great deal. Lets me know you're still enjoying the series. As always, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already for more Magic Duels content. There'll be something special coming up very soon that you might enjoy. It depends on what you are into and all that jazz. But be sure to stay for the end card where you'll find the deck list as well as other things. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.